Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the New Jersey International Film Festival special panel that we've set up on the two dance films that we will be screening as part of the 2023 NJIFF, which will be taking place online and in person. Our screenings will be in our wonderful state-of-the-art facility, Voorhees Hall 105, which is located on the Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey. We're a block away from the New Brunswick train station, and the space seats about 250 people, so it should be really wonderful to see these two great films on our big screen. If you can't come and join us, no worries. You can watch the films for 24 hours on their show date. But you definitely want to come to the in-person screening since our guests today will both be there. I hope you can join us. If you'd like further information, stick around at the end of the Q&A. I'll be showing you where you can get tickets on our website. But if you need quick and dirty information, it's njfilmfest.com. That's our general website. Well, today we have two wonderful filmmakers, actually three, and the subject of the film as well. We have Kelsey McGee. We're going to be showing her film Danceable on June 4th as part of our short films program. And then we have also a wonderful film called Dancing Without Steps, The Art of Improvisation with Margaret Beals. And Margie is here. She's down below me. And Adriana Davis, who's the co-director, is to my right. And welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining us. I guess, Kelsey, I'll start with you. Tell us about your film, Danceable.
Yeah, definitely. So Danceable is a short documentary following three dancers with disabilities as they find freedom through movement and continue on to become dance teachers. I filmed Danceable as my thesis film at the USC School of Cinematic Arts last May, which is crazy how time flies. But I am a lifelong dancer, and so I really wanted to kind of investigate who decides danceability, and especially coming from like the strict world of ballet where you're supposed to have a very specific body type. I wanted to speak to dancers who kind of break that mold and really find freedom through dance.
You know, I initially wanted to put both of your films together. And I thought, well, there's so many similarities in terms of, there's moments of improvisation in your film too. And that's the primary focus of Margie's film and Adriana's film. But I realized that it wasn't a long enough program since both of your films are about 25 minutes each. So I kind of split them. And I think in some ways, they sit better where they are because Kelsey's film is showing on June 4th at 5 o'clock live in person all day on that day. And Adriana and Margie's film is on June 10th, also at 5 o'clock in person and all day online. But I guess this is a lifelong or a long project, Adriana and Margie, that you guys have been working on this for over several years. Tell us about your film. I guess I will start with Adriana.
Okay. Thank you so much for having us. We're so pleased to be in the New Jersey International Film Festival, and it's going to be such an exciting night for us. We started, this has an interesting history, right, Margie? It began as what I'll call an edutainment type piece that was going to be Margie helping to not just preserve the concept and the techniques of improvisation and dance, but in relating that to future generations. So we had a whole series of salons sort of set up that I was going to edit, and then the process grew. And I'll let Margie pick up the rest of the story.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get my ideas about improv out somehow, and I did a lecture, and Adriana cut it for me from like 2 hours down to something manageable, and she illustrated it. And when I saw that she made Jackson Pollock come alive to my words, along with my dancing, I just loved that because I'm older now. You can't see my dancing as me anymore. So I really was very happy. And well, gosh, Adriana really stayed with it was about 2 years, right? Adriana?
It's been 5 years.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
I did a version in 2015 of what I thought was a rough cut. And then things kind of ended for a bit. Margie went on to do other things, and so did I. And then she found it one day on a DVD and just liked the concept of it. And then it grew, because I must say the film today doesn't even come close to resembling what I did in 2015. But and that's where it grew from an edutainment, I believe, to almost a biodoc, as well as entertaining, about Margie and everything that she's done in the world of dance. But then we also, through her words, were able to relate that to other art forms, where improvisation becomes your mode of operation, of how you're going to approach your art. And frankly, it helped me. And learning from Margie and learning about the improvisation techniques, it helped me as a director, as an editor, as a producer, because I'm learning, and it even helps me in my relationships, because I'm learning to listen better and not always talk, but able to listen and live in that moment. And that's Margie's, she's a pioneer in that aspect of dance, and has, I admire her way that she was able to stay with it. She has her methods and techniques and believes in them and lives them, which is a very important part. And hopefully we got that across in the film as well.
I actually wanted to see a longer film. I'm hoping it's the stepping stone to a feature, because there's so much wonderful information, and Margie's such a trailblazer. And I loved the introduction by Meredith Monk, and the connection. Yeah. And the connection to the other famous improv artists like Jackson Pollock and Keith Jarrett, to name a few. But I wanted to let you guys know that this meeting, I'm going to do this in 2 parts, because for whatever reason, the Zoom meeting is telling me that I have 7 minutes left, which I don't know why it's doing that. But I wanted to let our audience know, as well as the participants, that we will kind of do it in 2 parts. I will send you a new link, and we will cobble them together. So I'm sorry for that technical snafu, but it seems that even though I've done hundreds of these Zoom Q&As with filmmakers, that there's been very few technical snafus, but today we have one to deal with. But anyway, I'll give you a heads up like a minute in, and then we'll pick it up from there, so we can actually probably have a longer Q&A that way. Kelsey, you're based out in LA, but you're a Jersey resident, is that correct?
Yes. So I grew up in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Funny, both of my parents are actually from LA, but I grew up in New Jersey. All of my best friends are from New Jersey. I went to an all-girls high school in Summit, and I'm still best friends with the group of girls there, and they're all still based in New Jersey, New York, East Coast. But I moved out here to get my MFA in film production at USC. So I've been living in LA for the past 3 years now, I would say. I graduate this May, and I will stay in LA after graduation. But I do really miss New Jersey. I miss the good bagels and pizza.
Yeah,
it just doesn't compare at all.
You'll be returning home, and we're really lucky to have you at our in-person screening. Can you tell us how you hooked up with Lark, Jampy, and Marcy?
Yeah, definitely. So when I moved to LA, as I mentioned, I was a dancer my whole life. And when I moved to LA, I was kind of in the process of making friends and looking for a community. And so I decided to start taking dance classes again. And in my research, I found this one group called Straight Up Abilities, which is a dance group for dancers with disabilities, but they're a very inclusive dance group. Everyone of all abilities is allowed to join the classes. And I reached out and I attended one of the classes, and Marcy was one of the teachers. And so just meeting her, I really loved her. And I was like, I think there's a story here. And then once I decided, okay, I'm going to make this doc, I found Lark through a TED talk that they did when they were in
Wow.
high school. And it was just so beautiful and so eloquent. I was like, whoa, this person is a star. I need to talk to them. And then John P. Well, and I reached out to Lark over Instagram. They immediately got back to me and were like, I'm down to do this. So they joined the documentary after our first weekend filming with them too. I was like, whoa, like they are truly like the camera is drawn to them. And then John P. I met through one of my best friends at USC, grew up in Puerto Rico and actually knew John P. growing up. And so she texted them and they were like, yeah, I'm down. So they're super busy. They travel with a professional dance company called Axis. And so they've kind of been all over the world. But we found one weekend that the crew and I could drive up. They live in the Bay Area. And so we drove up to the Bay Area. We were like, how are we going to shoot this all in basically a day and a half? Because we had to, with, you know, the USC schedule, we had one day to drive up, a day and a half to film, and the rest of the day to drive back. But we made it work. We loved meeting with them. They also just have this like tangible star power that you can feel through the screen. And yeah, so it really, once I met all three of these dancers and they're all just so personable and incredible people, it was honestly a dream to film this because it felt every weekend coming to set, it was like, oh, we're just a group of friends hanging out in a dance studio and playing around. So yeah, it worked out really well.
That's wonderful. So I'm going to pause our meeting here and